Life can change in a single moment. One minute, everything seems settled. The next, the world turns upside down. This is what happened to Queen Vashti. She was the queen of a great kingdom, married to the powerful King Xerxes. Her life was one of comfort and honor. She had everything a person could want. But one evening, the king made a demand. He was hosting a grand banquet, and he wanted to show off his beautiful queen to all his guests. He sent his servants to bring her to the party. He wanted her to wear her royal crown so everyone could see her beauty and his great fortune. It seemed like a simple request from a powerful man, but Queen Vashti said no. We don't know all her reasons. Perhaps she felt it was not right. Perhaps she felt disrespected. Whatever her reason, her refusal shocked the king and his court. In that culture, a queen did not refuse the king. Her single act of defiance had enormous consequences. The king's advisors worried that other women in the kingdom would follow her example and disrespect their husbands. They convinced the king that Vashti could no longer be queen. So, just like that, her crown was taken away. The throne was empty. A great opportunity was now open, waiting for someone new. This sudden change was not an accident. It was part of a much bigger story. God was at work, even in a king's party and a queen's refusal. He saw a future problem that no one else could see. He knew his people would soon face a terrible danger. To save them, he needed someone in the palace. He needed a person of courage and faith in a position of power. Queen Vashti's exit was not just a punishment, it was a preparation. It created a space that needed to be filled. A door was closed for one person, so a new door could be opened for another. Sometimes in our own lives we see doors close unexpectedly. A job is lost. A relationship ends. A plan fails. We feel confused and disappointed. We wonder why this is happening, but what if the closed door is not the end of the story? What if it is just the beginning? What if God is making a way for something new? He works in ways we cannot always understand. He is setting the stage. He is preparing a place for someone. He is preparing a place for you. An empty throne in Persia meant a hero was needed. What empty space around you is waiting for a hero? Into this story walks a young woman named Esther. She was a Jewish orphan, raised by her loving cousin Mordecai. She was beautiful, but she lived a quiet life. She was not royalty. She had no power. But when the king searched for a new queen, Esther was chosen. She found favor with the king and won the crown. She kept her Jewish identity a secret, just as Mordecai had told her. For a time her life was peaceful. She was the queen, living in the palace far from the problems of the world, but trouble was coming. A wicked man named Haman was rising to power. Haman was proud and cruel. He hated the Jews, and he especially hated Mordecai, who refused to bow down to him. Filled with rage, Haman created a terrible plan. He tricked the king into signing a decree. On a certain day, all the Jewish people in the kingdom would be destroyed. The news spread, and great fear fell upon the Jews. They wept and prayed, for it seemed their end was near. Haman was celebrating. He thought his plan was perfect. He did not know that the new queen right there in the palace was a Jew herself. He did not know that God had placed a secret hero in the path of his evil plan. Mordecai knew he had to do something. He sent a message to Esther telling her about the plot. He urged her to go to the king and beg for her people's lives. But this was a dangerous request. No one could approach the king without being summoned. To do so meant risking death. Esther was afraid. She was just one person against a powerful enemy. She could have stayed silent. She could have tried to save herself. She was the queen, after all. Who would know she was a Jew? But Mordecai's words reached her heart with a powerful truth. He told her, "Who knows? Perhaps you have come to your royal position for such a time as this." Those words changed everything. Esther realized her life was not an accident. Her beauty, her position as queen, her hidden identity, it was all for this moment. She was not just a queen, she was a savior in waiting. She was placed in the palace for a purpose she never expected. She accepted her destiny. She told Mordecai to gather the people to pray, and she prepared to face the king. She was ready to risk her life to save her people. She was ready for her time. While Esther prepared to face the king, another part of God's plan was unfolding. It involved her cousin, Mordecai. He was a faithful man who sat at the king's gate every day. Sometime before Haman's evil plot, Mordecai had done a good deed. He overheard two of the king's guards plotting to assassinate King Xerxes. Mordecai immediately reported the plot, and the king's life was saved. The event was written down in the official records of the kingdom. And then, it was forgotten. Mordecai received no reward. No one mentioned it again. Life went on as usual. But God does not forget. He keeps perfect records. One night, long after the good deed was done, the king could not sleep. He was restless and troubled. To pass the time, he asked for the book of records to be read to him. Of all the stories of his long reign, the servant read the one about Mordecai, the one about the man who saved his life. The king stopped him. "What honor and reward has Mordecai received for this?" he asked. His servants replied, "Nothing has been done for him." The king knew this was wrong. A great deed had gone unrewarded. At that very moment, Haman arrived at the palace. He had come to ask the king for permission to hang Mordecai on the gallows he had built. But before Haman could speak, the king asked him a question. What should be done for the man the king delights to honor? Haman, in his pride, thought the king was talking about him. So he described a lavish ceremony. The man should wear the king's own robe, ride the king's own horse, and be led through the city streets while a noble prince shouted, "This is what is done for the man the king delights to honor." Imagine Haman's shock when the king said, "Go at once. Get the robe and the horse and do just as you have suggested for Mordecai the Jew." Haman had to honor the very man he wanted to destroy. This was not a coincidence, this was divine timing. A sleepless night, a forgotten record, and a proud man's arrival all came together perfectly. God was turning the tables. He was lifting up the humble and bringing down the proud. A good deed, done long ago and forgotten by men, was remembered by God at just the right time to change everything. The stories of Esther and Mordecai are not just ancient history. They are a message for you today. Look around you. Do you see problems that seem too big to solve? Do you notice people who are hurting or in need? Perhaps there is a challenge at your work, in your neighborhood, or even in your own family. These are not just random difficulties. They are opportunities. They might be yours for such a time as this moment. You might be the person God has placed in that exact spot, with your unique skills and your unique heart, to make a difference. You were made for this moment. You may feel small like Esther did. You may feel overlooked like Mordecai. You might think, what can I do? I am just one person. But God does not call the equipped. He equips the called. He gave Esther the courage to speak. He used Mordecai's faithfulness to change a king's heart. He can use you too. The position you have, the friend you know, the skill you've learned. It may not seem important now, but it could be the very thing needed to unlock a breakthrough for someone else. Do not underestimate where God has placed you. Haman's story teaches us a lesson too. He was prepared for a purpose, but a dark one. He let pride and hatred guide him, and it led to his own downfall. We all have a choice. We can use our lives to build ourselves up, or we can use our lives to lift others. We can choose to be a Haman, focused on our own honor, or we can choose to be an Esther, willing to risk everything for the good of others. God is looking for people who are willing to step into the gap. He is searching for heroes who will answer the call. Do not wait for a perfect time. Do not wait until you feel ready. The time is now. The need is real. Your moment is here. Look for that problem that breaks your heart. Listen for that quiet whisper telling you to act. You have been brought to your position, to your life, right now for a reason. Do not hesitate. Step up, speak out, reach out. Who knows? You may have been brought into your world, your family, your job, your city, for such a time as this. Rise up and take your place in the story God is writing.